Hey everyone, this is Miles from VRDroidersblog.com here today with a full video review of the HP Pavilion DV6 6135DX. Let's start this out with a look at the specs. So, as you can probably see, the DV6 is a 15.6 inch laptop. It's in the desktop replacement category. Still find it kind of weird that 15.6 inch laptop is considered desktop replacement, but whatever, that's fine. Again, 15.6 inches, that has a resolution of 1366 by 768. So not the highest there, but we'll get to the screen quality later. It has an AMD A8 3500M quad-core processor. It clocks in at 1.5 gigahertz. I think it has some kind of a turbo boost feature that brings up to 2.4 for gaming. That might be combined cores, anything like that. Not exactly sure how that works. The battery life overall, I got around 5 hours. It's not by any means the top for this category. I've seen at least 7 hours, if not more, on the stock battery. But it's really pretty good. It'll work pretty well for most people, especially as a desktop replacement. It has a 640 gigabyte hard drive that runs at 5400 RPM. On the right side here we have a Blu-ray, CD, DVD drive. In my test, the Blu-ray had pretty fast load times, definitely faster than my Blu-ray player, which is slow, but still a comparison. So yeah, speedy disk loading on this. Doesn't have a slot loading disk drive, but you generally don't find that on this kind of laptop. It weighs a total of 5.7 pounds, I believe. So if you don't have one of these at like your local Best Buy, something like that, then the weight of the 15-inch MacBook Pro would be a good comparison, since the MacBook Pro weighs about 5.6 pounds, I believe. The DV6 has 6 gigabytes of RAM and some kind of graphics switching technology similar to Optimus. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's basically that the DV6 only uses the actual graphics card, as it does have integrated graphics when necessary. So like when you're gaming, but when you're watching YouTube videos or something like that, it'll just stick to integrated graphics. So for the specs on that, the integrated chipset is an AMD Radeon HD 6620G, and the dedicated card is an AMD Radeon HD 6750M. It's a pretty powerful card for this size of laptop, and especially the price. I'll list some examples of some games and some frame rates on them. That's a pretty popular question I get in comments on laptop reviews, so thought I'd get some, for comparison's sake, out of the way now. On Crysis 2, this on high settings, this will do 38 frames per second, so that's pretty good performance. It's not ideal for PC gaming by any means, but I mean, for a laptop, again, that costs this little, it's definitely great. On Mafia 2, it'll kind of it'll do pretty well on high, with 39 frames per second, but run on a much better 46 on medium. Lastly, on Bad Company 2, this laptop will handle high at about 37 frames per second, but the play is noticeably better on medium at 55 frames per second. The actual specs on the graphics card are 600 megahertz core clock, and I was surprised to see this, but it has 1 gigabyte of GDDR5 video RAM. So really exceptional graphics card there. Again, it's not by any means top of the class, but for this price, it's absolutely great to see. As for the screen quality, it's really pretty nice. I do have, it doesn't have like the viewing angles of a lot of Apple products, I think the Samsung QX411 had better as well. Uh, but it does keep relatively accurate color at harsh viewing angles. So like I'm off to the side, maybe like, I don't know what the angle is, maybe 60 degrees, something like that. And it, color degradation, there's not really much showing up for that, so that's definitely good. But in terms of pixel density, when you take a close look at the screen here, you can notice pixels fairly easily. So the resolution and pixel density aren't particularly good, but for the average user that's probably going to be picking up this laptop, I think it's probably fine. During my Blu-ray tests, black levels were pretty good, although you get dimming to gray instead of black when you have the screen at various angles, so that can be, it's good for the price. I keep coming back to that, but I'd be fine with having the screen on this laptop. I'll put it that way. So, back to the processor. The performance, while it's great for gaming as a quad-core with its overclock type thing, it wasn't particularly great for everyday productivity use. So like, when I was in Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome, just on Facebook or on my blog or something like that, and typing, I noticed some input lag, and generally slower performance for document processing than I'm used to on my laptop and my desktop. But it's decent in that category. It performs much better in gaming. So if that's a concern, don't worry about that part. Now for the design and ports. The body of this laptop has a pretty nice brushed aluminum alloy as a finish on it, so it helps bring it much more premium feel than a lot of other laptops in this price range and size range, all that stuff. However, like a lot of HP laptops that aren't the Envy series, it's only a finish and not a solid aluminum computer. So, for example, it's not going to have that solid feeling to it, like the MacBook Pro or the Samsung QX411. That being said, this doesn't feel like a flimsy laptop by any means. Now, the touchpad, it doesn't use clickpad technology. It has separate right and left keys there. I've gotten used to clickpad on a lot of the recent laptops I reviewed, but it's not a must-have. It is fairly well sized, and it does have multi-touch, but I was not impressed by it. It's really picky about how close your fingers are together when you use it. For instance, like when you're if you try to use this like a MacBook Pro touchpad, MacBook Air touchpad, anything like that, you won't get as good results at all. But once you get used to it, it's usable. It also has multi-touch, as you can see on the screen there. It's not, again, as responsive as I'm used to, but if you just use it every now and then as a light user of multi-touch and two-finger scrolling, then it'll work decently. But again, I was not impressed about that. Something that I did find nice was the method for disabling the touchpad, kind of ironically there. But instead of a physical button like in between the keyboard and the touchpad here, you get just a double tap in the top left-hand corner of the touchpad to turn it off. And I'm not sure if you can see this in the video, but you get kind of an orange standby light instead of the full edge-lit powered on light. So then you just double tap again to re-enable that. So pretty nice feature there, although it's not a deal breaker really for anything, but It's creative. I like it for what that's worth. Another feature that I enjoyed was the fingerprint reader. It's kind of squashed in between the annoying stickers in this corner here. But if you can see that, it's just the strip kind. It's not the whole finger press kind, which got kind of phased out a few years ago. It's pretty nice. It's not quite as responsive as if you buy an external one, but it does have a nice HP utility that actually lets you set different different accounts and passwords for all of your fingers. So you can do login with your index, Facebook, with your other fingers, Gmail, anything like that. All of your fingers you can set with a pretty nice utility. Lets you click on the finger, set the account, set the password, scan your fingerprint in. So I'll show you just how that works on login here. As you can see, pretty responsive, pretty fast. Nice feature, especially to see on a non-business laptop. Now, as you can see, the DV6 has a chiclet style keyboard, so island style, separated keys, for those of you who don't know what that a chiclet means. It's matte plastic, none of the shiny fingerprinty stuff. The keys feel a bit hollow. Well, my video decided to cut out there for a minute, but as I was saying, the keys feel a little bit hollow, but overall pretty high quality. What I do see here a little bit is some keyboard flex right in here, the WASD area. It's really not there that much over the rest of the keyboard, but right in here, like a lot of HP laptops, it's noticeable when you're typing. But that being said, it's not as bad as the keyboard flex on other laptops I've tried out. And also, stuff like that is definitely not a deal breaker at all. So, let's get on to the ports on here. It has a really nice selection of ports. They managed to cram in a lot here. So, let's go ahead and start out with the left side. Okay, so as you can see here, this part's just a vent for the graphics card, I believe, since it got pretty hot during gaming. Right here you have a VGA port, you have HDMI, you have Ethernet, you have two USB 3s, which is, again, nice to see on a product of this price. HP has that labeled as solid state USB ports. And definitely you have a solid state drive, or really a fast flash drive. Doesn't have to be anything super near like SATA 3, solid state external, anything like that, but you'll notice a speed difference with those if you have compatible technology. You have the microphone port right here, and as HP likes to do, two headphone ports, something that I really enjoy for like sharing music, sharing videos with people around you. On the front here we have the SD card reader, always nice to have those, and we have the two Beats speakers. There's also a speaker grill back here, right below the monitor, the screen, but it's nice to have as many speakers as you can cram in, I guess. So on this side, you just get the power port, the Kensington lock port, and two USB 2s. So this laptop definitely isn't needing for any USB ports. It has 4. It's pretty good. Generally good enough for the average consumer. And here, obviously, is the Blu-ray, DVD, CD drive. Now, for if I can jump away from the ports for a minute, the DV6 has reasonably good speaker quality. I noticed that it was a bit tinny in here, not so much in there. Those are more for bass subwoofers, I think. It's fairly usual to have tinny speakers in a laptop, but I was hoping for something better than this with Beats. Unfortunately, it's not really. It's decent laptop speaker quality, but not great. If you're an audiophile, you'll definitely want some external speakers. It does have a utility somewhere in the included bloatware that's actually fairly useful. It's a Beats utility. It lets you set the equalizer to different levels, presets, fidelity. Something I did find was that if I boosted bass all the way and lowered fidelity, there wasn't that much of a difference, and it did come out sounding higher quality than the default. So if you get this, you want better audio quality, I'd definitely try that method first. Now, lastly, as I said, the other speaker grill is right below the screen here. So, my final conclusions about this. It's a pretty nice laptop, has good, simple design, although it has tons of speakers. Had one here also. Took that one off for testing purposes. You can pick this up for about $670 at Best Buy, I think. $699 online. That is an excellent price for this. You can get, you can get laptops that perform better for the size range, but you can almost never find them for that low of a price. If anything in this review interested you and you're in the market for a new laptop, I definitely recommend this as a nice choice. It would make a pretty good college laptop, for instance. Has, again, decent battery life for the size, nice features, nice specs. Again, this has been a review from vrdoersblog.com of the HP DV6 6135DX. Make sure to check out the blog.